Hi everyone, this is Barbara Beckman. Today I am working in my Canson Mixed Media Art Journal. It's specifically designated for my art snacks, which comes monthly. I do an unboxing and I also try to journal with whatever comes in this mystery box of mine. This month was a little bit challenging. There was a couple items in here. One I already had. It was like a pen that, or a brush right here holding up that holds water, travel brush. It says it's a new product. It might be new to the company that made it, but it's definitely not a new product to me. I've had these for many years. So I actually don't use this in here because I didn't want to ruin it. The thing that I'm unwrapping now is it's a brush or a paint marker, and it's made by Crink. It's a K90 paint marker. It retails for $12. And I really wasn't impressed with this. It says here that it's a pump action end and a steel rollerball tip. The Crink K90 marker is the first of its kind, so get creative. To use it, gently pump the rubber at the end of the marker. Okay, and I did that, and it was just very gloppy. I couldn't really control it too much. It didn't have a fine point. It came out almost like toothpaste consistency to me. Unless there's something wrong with mine, then I don't think I would be using this again. I tried to use it. I really did. I struggled with it. And then I thought about using that water brush that came with it to spread it around to see if I could water it down a little bit. But I love those brushes so much that I decided not to do that because I didn't want to ruin the brush. So I did use an old paintbrush that I had on hand just to see if the paint moved. I always take the stickers that come inside and I put them on the front of my journal book. I just figured I'd decorate it. Why not? What the heck? What else am I going to do with those stickers? So this is the book that I have, and these are the ones I've done in the past. And I'll find a blank page here to start sketching on. Before I sketch, what I've done is decided to take the green tissue paper that comes in the box with the materials wrapped in. And I just used some Liquitex matte medium with an old paintbrush, and I just lightly applied it to the bottom here and there, overlapping it just to give it some texture. And I've decided I'm going to draw some sort of bird. So I wanted to give the bird some sort of grassy area to stand on. I have in mind an idea what I want to do, but I really kind of figure it out as I go along. So this pencil also came in the box, and I actually love this pencil. It's a General Cedar Point graphite pencil, number 1. It's extra soft. It retails for about 66 cents, and it was very smooth. It went on very nicely. I was able to get some darks and lights with it very easily. It erased fairly quickly, no problems with it at all. It just had a nice feel to it in my hands. It was a good quality graphite pencil, so I'll definitely be using this for sure. The tissue paper here is still a little bit wet, so I just hit it with some of the heat and I was able to quickly draw the little feet on top of it with no problem. So here's that black Crink K90 paint marker that I was saying I really wasn't impressed with. I didn't have a lot of control over it, and I really didn't know what I was supposed to do with it. I mean, I could definitely be using this wrong. Not really sure what I would use this for. It's not like you have a lot of control to write letters or use on a poster or something, so I was a little frustrated with it. So I quickly just glopped on some of the dark undertones where I wanted them. And then I was going to use my paintbrush that came in, the fillable paintbrush that came in with the box. But like I said, I really didn't want to ruin it because I love them too much. So I did grab an old one and I started to just push around that black paint to see if it moved anywhere. So I was trying to create some light and dark tones. I knew pretty fairly on that this was just going to end up being my underpainting. It just was a mess. It was a hot mess. And you know, for the underpainting, it worked out fine, but I can't see using this for anything else, really, honestly. I really like to challenge myself every month and not use any products that I have here at home, but I find with art snacks lately, that's why I'm doing the May 2016 here in January 2017. I just got frustrated with them. The products did not go together well. They were not compatible, and I love mixed media, so I have no problem mixing things together. but I just struggled throughout, and I got tired of trying to create something that I was just struggling with too much. So also included was this bright pink neon acrylic ink, and it's by Daler Rowney, and it is a acrylic based ink that's highly pigmented for creating multiple color layers on top of your art. So that's what I ended up trying to do. I knew I wanted to add some more color into it, so I quickly grabbed some water soluble crayons that I had here. Not sure who makes them. I think they're Stedler's, I'm not sure, but they're just watercolor crayons that I just scribbled on some color here and there just to see if I can get some other color down onto this paper, give it some interest, because it just was not looking too good right now. It's a hot mess again, as you can see. So thank God for water, and these colored pencils or crayons came together pretty well and gave me some color. So this Canson mixed media book's great. It takes a lot of abuse from me. It takes a lot of water, it takes a lot of acrylic paint, inks, whatever. Highly recommend the book for sure. So once that was dried, again, I just felt like I needed to do something else with it. And I added some oil pastel. Why not? Add something else on top of it. These are, I'm not even sure what brand they are. If I find the box, here it is. These are very, very inexpensive. I think they're my daughter's actually. They're oil pastels by Pro Art, and they are definitely not professional grade quality, but you know what? It went over these colors and these other products that I had under it pretty well. I have no complaints. I pushed it around my finger, I smudged it around. Still didn't have a rhyme or reason where I was going, but again, this is mixed media and it's just a lot of playtime for me. So I was enjoying the day. The bird's quite ugly at this point. I'm laughing as I'm looking back here at it. He does turn out a little bit better, I have to say. So again, here I decide that I want more color, and I was going to use acrylic, but I decided let me just add some watercolor, thick, heavy watercolor. Now, the oil pastels will definitely act as a resist, and I knew that, and that's fine. But I just layered and layered and layered, and I dried it. And when I heat dried it, what happened was I think the oil pastels tend to melt a little bit, and it does take on some of this color that I'm applying down. I've done this before. It's kind of a neat technique. I also put a lot of splatter in just to give the background some interest. I'm going to go back and work on that bird a little bit later, but for now I'm just mostly concentrating on the background. So as I heat it here, the oil, like I said, will get hot and it almost melts a little bit, and it does take in a lot of that color, the watercolor that I just put down. So I love that effect. If you haven't tried that, give that a try. That's a lot of fun. So it's all dry, and I went back to the liquid ink that came in, the acrylic ink that came in with the box, and I figured let me just dab on some colors here and there. So here's my go-to products when all these art snacks start to fail me and I need to cover something that quite wasn't going the way I wanted it to. So I just used regular craft acrylic. It's not any good acrylic. For my art journals, I definitely wouldn't use like my golden acrylics here. I just use either some folk art or even some cream coat or some Liquitex even. Just something that's not very expensive, just play. So he's starting to take shape here. It was easy to go over him, but I felt bad covering up all that black that came in with the box, I have to say. But if you know what you're supposed to do with this thing, could you please put a comment down below, because I really couldn't figure it out. So all I'm doing is just making a lot of layers over and over again on top of each other with the acrylic paint until I'm happy with him pretty much. I'm giving him a white underbelly. Most birds have white underbellies. I don't even know if this bird exists in real life or not. It's kind of crazy bird. kind of the way this journal page came out, a little bit crazy. So I think he actually looks very appropriately standing there. So regular craft acrylic paint's a lot of fun to just go over anything. If you have mistakes, or you want to change things, or it wasn't working out for you, you were testing out products like I was, it's a great medium to kind of save your journal page. So I just added some turquoise in there. I like to use a lot of color. I'm not looking at anything, it's just kind of coming out of my head, which could be frightening at times. So the acrylic dried nicely. Once it was all dried, I decided to take a Sharpie and go around it, but I still had a lot of that oil pastel and I had some resist there. So I had to bag my Sharpie and I went to the black acrylic paint, which I just put on and kind of outlined thinly with a nice thin brush. Just gave him a chance to pop out on the page a little bit more. So in the end, he kind of turned out kind of neat. I do like this journal page. I really didn't like it for a long time, but with all the splatters and all the different layers that I added on, and just continuing to work on it until I found a place where I was a little bit more happy with. In the end, it was something that I actually thought was kind of neat, and it was different and it was unique, and that's what I love about painting. So before I called it quits here, I just went again and used the white because some of the under colors were coming through just slightly, not really a lot. You know, I do love the challenge that, like I said, just using whatever comes in that box, but I ended up canceling my subscription to Art Snacks, which I'm kind of sad about. And I only did that because, like I said, I was struggling with the mediums not being compatible. And it wasn't fair that I was having to grab other mediums that I had in my house to get something down on the paper to make a journal page. I wanted that challenge of using just whatever came in the box. And I did that early on when I first started to do the art journaling for the Art Snacks, but I don't know if they just decided to just take different things, or at the beginning maybe they thought maybe people would be doing challenges and they just wanted them to be more compatible, and then they switched over at some point. I don't know, but the last few boxes I found, it was like oil and vinegar. So here I'm just taking an old credit card and I just grabbed some of that leftover paint that's on my plate there. And I just scraped some colors here and there just to add some more interest to it. Then at some point I thought, you know what? I'm going to add a nice quote to this guy. So a little searching online and I came up with a nice quote that I just stuck down here on the bottom right hand side. The white acrylic paint went over everything nicely. Nothing really bled through. It took on the first try, I believe. So this is a nice quote by Isaiah. If you don't stand firm in your faith, you won't stand at all. So I thought that was appropriate for this little guy. It looks like he's standing pretty strong out there. standing firm against all the different art journaling techniques I could throw at him. So he came out pretty well. I was happy with him. And that was it for today. So thank you for watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and please subscribe.